Let's head back to the voicemail of Truth and Reason.
Hey, Dave, Frank from Cleveland. I ain't too crazy about with these rumors with Aiyuk. That guy ain't no proven number one. He was like the third or fourth option out of the Niners. Save that money and go out and get T. Higgins next year. I'm done with an experiment. We're looking to the future. No, now's the future. They got to get everything in core. Why upset the locker room? They say this dude might be a cancer in the locker room, and well, we're witnessing this right here. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of that trade, Dave. Thank you for taking my call. Love you, brother. You and the family be safe, and I'll be in touch.
As always, appreciate all of the voicemails. Max, I hesitate with the whole cancer in the locker room. Everybody wants to. NFL guys have a short shelf life to their career. They want to get paid. I get it. Now, having said that, I'm not sure, if you take Aiyuk and you take away Kittle and you take away Christian McCaffrey and you take away Deebo Samuel, again, he's a really good player. I'm not sure his production doesn't suffer.
Yeah, I think his production will suffer. I think clearly it's a worse situation offensively in Cleveland than it is in San Francisco. I don't think there's really any up for debate for that. But I do think Brandon Aiyuk is a really good player, and I think he's a top 10 receiver in the NFL right now. So I would make that trade in a heartbeat from the Browns, depending on what they give up, right? And obviously, you got to pay Brandon Aiyuk as well. But I think he's a better receiver than Amari Cooper, for example. I think he's better than T. Higgins, like the caller brought up as well. Yeah, I think Brandon Aiyuk, it's very rare for a top 10 receiver in the NFL to come on the open market like this, really. So I think the Browns would be wise to be one of the teams, and it seems like they're one of the teams that are really trying to vie for his services right now.
And again, the thought behind doing that for the Browns, and I go back and forth with whether I think they should try to get Aiyuk. They're trying to reset the clock on the wide receiver room. He's 4 years younger than Cooper, so you extend the shelf life that you're giving your franchise quarterback an elite wide receiver. And yeah, I'm with you. I don't think he's a top 5, but I think he's in that next range. That was kind of where I was going with that. And again, I don't know how. I would think it would be interesting to see if you didn't have the elite skill players around him, how good. You throw him next to George Pickens. I don't know how that's going to work for him. I really don't.
Yeah, I think there's two sides to that, right? I think one is that you can look at it and say, okay, you have Deebo Samuel, you got Christian McCaffrey, you got George Kittle. You just can't commit 2 guys to Brandon Aiyuk on every play. So in that sense, he is an advantage in San Francisco, but also you could also argue against that and say it's a disadvantage because all of a sudden you got more mouths to feed on that team, right? So you can say if Aiyuk is in a situation where he's clearly the top option, he could put up huge numbers, right, as well. So it's 2 sides of the coin, really, with that, too. So I think Brandon Aiyuk is the best receiver the 49ers have on that roster, even above Deebo Samuel. Probably the best pass catcher they have on that roster, too, even above George Kittle. So, yeah, I think Brandon Aiyuk is a really, really good player. And like I said, I think he's a top 10 receiver in the NFL. And those just don't come around on the open market very often, right? So I think Brandon Aiyuk, it makes sense why there's a lot of teams trying to go after him and pay him really whatever he wants.